OT Equator, mini media implants, surgery, laboratory surgery kit, direct loading Bononia Seeger bar, cast over and medium structure. Mini media implants are one-piece, tin-covered mini implant OT Equator attachments. The strong shapes of the screw helps the insertion. In order to deliver enough stability at the first stage, we should apply 30 to 40 Newton of torque. The OT Equator low gingival barycenter reduces the lever strength so that it can be used as a single implant. The threaded hole of the attachment allows many prosthetic solutions. It's a solid fixture that does not break. Surgery, laboratory, surgery kit. Step-by-step procedure from the surgery to the finished prosthesis. Blue kit, spherical retention. In addition to mini media implants, these kits contain all the necessary components to rehabilitate an edentulous patient in 48 hours. Thanks to a new locking system concept, one can proceed without problems and misplacements at any stage. Seeger springs are an innovative connection system for implants. Passive, safe, easy. The locking power is left in part to the Seeger springs. They're a valid tool to avoid unscrewing and breaking problems. Dental surgery. How to use the surgery laboratory kit. When the vertical and centric dimensions are detected using a wax wall, we proceed with the patient doing a wax-up trial and surgery. Surgical session. In addition to the surgery laboratory kit, to make these surgical sessions, it's convenient to have available an assortment of mini media implants, once the wax-up trial is approved by the patient. These rehabilitations are usually performed on edentulous patients. In this case, we extract the compromised incisor teeth, then make a flap surgery without discharging cuts to save the cortical vestibular tissue. The alveolar area is then cleaned up from the excess soft tissues. Take the calibrated burr from the sterile burrs kit and insert the vertical stop to define the osteotomy depth. Prepare the implant sieges according to the previously performed evaluation of bone consistency. Take the implant using the cap of its sterile package. Screw the implant inside the osteotomy, using an inch to press firmly so as to avoid the mandrel disconnecting from the implant. Two transfers are then set on the implants to balance existing divergences. They'll be used to arrange lateral implant sieges. The perforating drill and the vertical stop has to be set at this stage. Check by X-raying the hole already drilled up, and then take the implant from its sterile package and position it into the arranged hole. After a few turns, the top tears itself out so that we can proceed by using the ratchet wrench. Having extracted 4 teeth, a little flap surgery was performed. If the patient is edentulous, it should be proper to perform flapless surgery. After the flaps have been sewn, insert in position over the OT Equator attachments, the impression tear-off transfers found inside the kit. Take the impression using a normal impression tray filled with elastomer. In the same wax wall used to detect vertical and centric dimensions, create space in order to avoid all interference with the implant clutters. Refill with wax to the right position between the gingival siege and the antagonist. Once the wax wall is in position, use some other soft wax, already softened with hot water, in order to detect with precision the impression of the surgical area. This will allow repositioning of the new model in centric articulation. It's appropriate to cool down the wax wall and replace it in the patient's mouth. This test has to be performed even if the articular ridge is already edentulous. This procedure is important because it assures the replacement of the new model in articulation, and it allows finishing directly the definitive prosthesis without trials. Protective barrier. Before the end of the session, a previously built lab protective barrier is used to save the tissues and stiffen the fixtures. The sutures are covered by a piece of surgical layer fixed with green elastic caps found inside the surgery kit. While the barrier is in position, some self-curing resin has to be poured and when it's hard, the barrier can be removed, smoothed and polished. Spread some chlorhexidine, 0.2%, under the protective barrier, which should be kept there until the next session. Laboratory stages. The laboratory receives from the surgery the kit, the articulator with the wax-up teeth trial, the new impression with the transfers, and the articulating wax wall refilled with soft wax. Take the OT Equator S-steel analogues from the kit and insert them into the tear of transfers into the impression. When we get the model to fit the right position in the incisive zone, break all the edges of the wax wall, leaving only the contact areas with the central part of the alveolar ridge where there was the soft wax. With the position models on the new articulator, apply the incisor teeth extracted during the surgery. On the parallelometer, using a 90-degree arm, the insertion line of the prosthesis is detected. This will allow positioning of the attachments on the bar, perpendicular to the occlusal plane. 2 silicone masks were made, one labial and the other lingual. Put the red castable abutments that you find inside the surgery laboratory kit on the OT Equator attachments. Fix them with the red Seegers and the sealing lids. They should not be screwed tightly. Be careful. The red Seeger also has a way of insertion because it's conical. Take the Norma and Micro OT caps from the surgery laboratory kit and cut the bar into pieces of different dimensions. Link with self-curing resin only on one side all the different parts using the parallelometer mandrel. Once cured, join the pieces from the other sides until the structure is complete. This method is used to avoid retractions. In this case, two different kinds of resin were used to show the procedure better. If needed, drill away all the excess resin and complete the bar with some wax. Be careful. Instead of casting the carved bar, use a completely new technique which allows setting the overstructure directly on the bar using a common Teflon tape. This allows putting the overstructure and bar in the same casting ring. Put the positioning rings on the spheres of the bar covered by Teflon tape. They will also fit the Teflon tape better. Spreading some resin insulating liquid will make the Teflon stick over the structure. Put the Normo and micro castable housings on the positioning rings and link them with self-curing resin, spreading it in different stages to avoid retractions. Be careful. Take out the positioning rings from the housings. Finish off the excess resins and complete the mold with some wax. Put the silicone mask in position and apply reinforcement pins for each tooth. Unscrew the sealing lids and take out the red seegers from the red castable abutments. Sprue with your personal technique. With this method, we can get both structures in one cast, saving time, costs and materials while still checking expansions. Sandblasted chrome cobalt castings. Take the elastic OT caps from the kit. Finished and polished bar. We can see passive connection of the bar without seegers. Bar on the model fixed by red seegers and titanium sealing lids. Insertion of the black laboratory caps inside their seegers in the bar. White and pink painted over structure. Elimination of the undercuts with silicone. Fit the teeth to the overstructure by drilling and fixing them in the silicone mask with some superglue. Finish the processes as usual. This is a solid double structure processes, easily built with normal laboratory equipment. Finished processes. articulation check. Prosthesis on the model. It will be sent back to the surgery with the kit and the rest of the content. Dental surgery 48 hours later. Positioning of the prosthesis into the patient's mouth. Last stage of the step-by-step guided procedure from the surgery to the patient's mouth. Removing the protective barrier, you'll notice that the shape of the gums is still the same without any swellings. Positioning of the bar over the OT Equator attachments, you'll notice some freedom which makes it passive. Once you put only one Seeger, you will notice a gaining in stability. While inserting the Seegers, you must pay attention to their slightly conical insertion mode to avoid functional problems. Once you've inserted all the white Seegers, screw the titanium sealing lids in order to definitively fix the bar. This passive locking system also works with fixtures up to 40 degrees of divergence. Place and check the prosthesis with the extra resilient caps. Check up articulation. Using silicone, check the adhesion to the saddles. In this case, the adhesion is good since we immediately refill the prosthesis. Instruct the patient with basic hygienic rules and instruct them on the prosthesis insertion method. In the first period of use, the removable prosthesis should be removed only once a day. And the patient should eat only liquid or soft foods for at least 1 month. We must also explain to the patient how to take care of the new prosthesis. Book some check-up visits, the first one to remove the sutures, then the rest during the year. In only 48 hours, with only one surgery laboratory kit, we rehabilitated one patient from surgery to finished prosthesis. Some elastic Seeger cases.